The original Gilneas is coming. Now, this is more Classic Plus related, but I've been talking about Gilneas Revamp, okay? Silvermoon's Revamp, to me, successful, fantastic, unbelievable, ejaculation worthy. Those are the terms that I would use to describe the Silvermoon Revamp. I think it's been great. The rebuild of Silvermoon is perfect. The build out of it, the way they did it, I think Silvermoon as a hub city has been one of my favorite hub cities in expansion in a long time. They did an awesome job with it. But now I look around, right? I poke my head up and I say, all right, what's next? What can Blizzard hit next? And there's two cities that pop up on my radar. Proper Lordaeron. Give me a fucking rebuild Lordaeron already. We can do a revamp of Undercity too. You keep that for the Horde, but rebuild Lordaeron, make it cross-faction. And then number 2, Gilneas. Gilneas has such a cool, unique aesthetic. The rainy weather. I've always liked it. I've always liked the music there, and it's so underutilized. It's just sitting up there, not doing shit. It's time to rebuild Gilneas, bring Gilneas to its true glorious form, and that's what this video is about. Let's see what the real Gilneas would look like in a Classic Plus, or in my case, or in a lot of our cases here, in a retail version. Here we go.
Gilneas is one of the most requested features in Classic Plus. A lot of people look at these gates here, these destroyed shitty gates, and think to themselves, what is behind this broken structure and what was the original Gilneas meant to be? We all know, again, Greymane, Test Greymane, all the retail storylines, all the retail things, right?
Yeah.
But when it comes to these big wolves, the question has always been, what was...
Let's call them what they are. Let's call them what they are, okay? These big furries. We know what a lot of Worgen truly are. They're furries. And they're not closet about it. They're not anything about it. They're just out there about it. And it is what it is. Now, I would say probably 80% to 85%. This is calculated. I did a big study on this. I did a whole paper on it. It was a capstone project for me in college. How many Worgen are actually furries in real life? I count about 86.7% of Worgen are actually furries in real life. And but the crazy thing is, I did a follow-up study. Vulpera, 98%. Vulpera, it's because of their tiny size. They can crawl into crevices and holes, and use your imagination on that one. And the tail is a big feature for them. So that's the thing. But so we have to keep in mind that would make about 14% of Worgen are regular people. Okay, so we got to be polite. We got to consider that. All right.
Storyline meant to be, and what was vanilla Gilneas supposed to look like? Now, when it comes to dogs, the Gilneans are Worgens. The Worgen curse is spreading quite through the whole universe of Gilneas. My dog, just like the Worgens...
Wait, I'm being called a furry now in chat because of those statistics I just gave, because I do in fact have a Vulpera and a Worgen on my account. This is true, okay? But I have those because you fuckboys in chat voted on that shit. When I made those alts for the remix events, you guys made me fucking make a Worgen, a Vulpera, and a Leper Gnome, okay? That's just you guys trolling my ass. That was not a choice on my part, okay? Fucking calling me a furry.
Broke free. And as they go ahead, they spread this curse into Silverpine Forest, which is where we have the iconic Shadowfang Keep and the storyline happening around there. The curse of the Worgen, the sons of Arugal. You all, if you play hardcore, know the exact issue and the terror that Worgens can bring to you and your livelihood. Now, the other major issue is the Gilneas we got in Cataclysm and the Gilneas in-game are two separate beasts. The major difference: the Gilneas in Cataclysm actually exists, whereas the Gilneas in Classic, not so fucking much. So, allow me to introduce all of you to none other than Gilneas. This is the vanilla Gilneas.
Oh,
if you guys pull up a map, you open that map of vanilla, it looks like a really shitty dangling shrimp right to the south of Silverpine Forest.
Okay.
Well,
I mean, this is basically what they would start with in retail, because the rebuild of Silvermoon, or people say the revamp of Silvermoon. I call it the rebuild because this is basically what they did. They tore old Silvermoon down to the ground and rebuilt that shit. The Silvermoon that we see today is not an up-res version, reskinned of old Silvermoon. It's completely different. They built the entire thing from the ground up. completely new city. It's got the same aesthetic, and yes, the Horde Zone has the same layout as old Silvermoon, proper old Silvermoon, but it's completely redone. And this is what they would have to do with the Gilneas. They'd have to redo the whole thing from the ground up.
Behind the gate is not a mystery. It doesn't exist. But there were many plans and many storylines revolving around the Worgen and what that meant for the world of Azeroth, as well as the Forsaken, and the storylines between the human kingdoms, Stromgarde, Alterac, Lordaeron, and Gilneas.
So many good stories.
Now, sadly, a lot of storylines and story beats got scrapped so they could make new expansions. The original...
Real quick, that's not my mouse in the center of the screen. That's his. It's annoying the shit out of me. I wish he didn't do that, but it's there.
Classic, the original vanilla, was meant to have forever more patches, but they decided, I think it was around Blackwing Lair, that they wanted to do expansions instead of forever patches and phases, because they thought that would be more accessible to new players. And I guess they did turn out to be somewhat correct in the long-term theory crafting of what World of Warcraft is. But now that we got that out the way, OG Gilneas. It's a beat, it's a story. And it's time for me to share with every single person here just what Gilneas was truly meant to look like. Now, in the grand scheme of things, Gilneas as a kingdom was quite literally created to be a color on the map for Warcraft 1 and 2. It's not really something that was truly fully expanded upon, honestly, not until vanilla World of Warcraft. This isn't a precursor to Warcraft, like, you know, they were not pulling lore from Warcraft 3 or Warcraft 2 or Warcraft 1. Gilneas was a forgotten byproduct from an era of the RTS genre.
Yeah, that's a good whiteboard, dude. He drew it out perfectly. Gilneas, the city, is actually like an island. It is surrounded by water. It's got a moat dug around it, basically, and it heads out to the ocean there. This is a good drawing. You see Silver Pine Forest and South Shore up there. This area, and I've said this a lot of times, the upper half of the Eastern Kingdoms has probably the best lore in the entire game. Some of the biggest WoW events and WoW moments have happened in this small section. You got Silvermoon up there, right? Obviously, a lot of shit's happened in Silvermoon over the years. The Dead Scar, Arthas' entire campaign up there, all happened there. Gilneas and all of its lore, Shadowfang Keep, all of these big moments. Big lore, Dalaran. These big lore moments have happened in that upper part of the Eastern Kingdoms. It's probably the most lore-heavy, lore-rich area. Now, can I forget? Lordaeron, obviously, is up there, too. So anything that lays out that continent or revamps that part of the continent, I'm down for it.
Real proof exists that they were only made to fill the color black for the black slot in the factions for the Warcraft RTS games, but that is realistically the only reason Gilneas even exists on the map. Now in Warcraft 3, lore-wise, Greymane did go ahead and send a contingent of forces to Stone Talon Mountains to help out with Jaina Proudmoore and the stories of Warcraft 3. But that is about the involvement of Gilneas. Come vanilla, the devs made the Worgens. The Worgen curse started to pick up, and then, you know, the Gen Greymane and all this extra shit, that started to like coincide and kind of come together as a story and an overall universal beat. But effectively, the Worgen we got in Cataclysm are technically the Worgen we were meant to get in vanilla. The devs' whole plan and whole storyline quite literally revolved around the curse breaking down one of the last isolationist kingdoms on the planet, and what that would look like for the humans who now have to deal with a curse. They isolated themselves.
Basically the events of Cataclysm. They were there. Gilneas was always there, but they had still isolated themselves away from the world. And unfortunately, that isolation also led to the Gilnean curse essentially just infecting everybody because nobody could get in or out, and the Gilneans were stuck with each other. It's almost like a Scourge event, but it was the Worgen curse, and it just spread throughout the entire kingdom. And the events of Cataclysm broke open the wall and all that shit, and the Gilnean curse leaked out, and hey, the Gilneans have now reassimilated into the Alliance. That's what the events that played out, and wow, that's how it worked out. I was really hoping he was going to show a pic. He does show some stuff down the line, I'm sure. I wouldn't know. I didn't pre-watch. But I'm sure he's going to show something here.
Oh, they weren't touched by the Scourge. They completely ignored all the issues of the wars and everything that happened. But they got plagued by the Worgens, by the beast within. Now, right here, you guys see what I drew is technically a map that I think Gilneas will kind of pull inspiration from when they do add it to the game. You've probably seen TWOW's map, or seen other maps from other people, other people who had inspiration, the Cataclysm map, all these different variations. But I do think we are going to get some semblance of, in this context, Cataclysm, as well as a unique twist to what Classic Plus' Gilneas itself will be. So, right off the bat, isolationism, and of course, the iconic grey main wall, just separating Gilneas from Silverpine Forest. Now, the wall itself will very likely be a dungeon. Whether you like it or not, the siege of Gilneas is going to be a neutral thing where the Horde are breaking in and the Alliance are breaking in to try to stop the Horde or try to defend Gilneas or try to stop the Worgen curse from breaking
Classic
through.
Plus.
Keep in mind that this
cool.
is not a continuation of retail. The Classic Plus we are getting is very likely going to be a separate universe, a separate storyline, because retail's lore is so far gone that if we stay in Azeroth, we can't really have found...
This is a great video, guys. You guys talked a lot of shit. He put a lot of work in. Listen to what the man is saying. The fuck's wrong with you guys? You guys are such a tough crowd. Jesus.
...on stories because the impact of the world has changed drastically. They can only do so many events within 4 years, because keep in mind, from vanilla to the end of Wrath,
I'm not related
was 6 years. 6 lore years. We can't have multiple new raid tiers and apocalypses and issues in 6 years forever. So it will likely be an alternate timeline. Now, as far as a level bracket for the dungeon and the locale itself in general, in my personal opinion, I think the Gilneas Wall and the dungeon itself will be a 5-man dungeon and a level 35 to 45 dungeon. I don't think we're looking at an endgame dungeon. I don't think Gilneas itself will be
You know what I was thinking, though, as he gets into this dungeon, which kind of sounds like a cool event to play through. They could easily do, like, time-walking events or time-warped events, you know, especially with the remix shit they've been doing. You could do something like that where you could actually take these dungeons from Classic Plus that they're going to make for Classic Plus and make them available to retail. That would kind of be cool. Like, we play through this alternate timeline where we get to run through this Gilnean opening of the wall dungeon. It'd kind of be neat.
Endgame zone.
A way to double dip on the content they make.
Customization for humans, because Classic Plus will have new races. It will have new customization, new models. Honestly, I wouldn't even be surprised if Classic Plus used full retail models. I can't say that it will, right? I do think if they do it, they'll add a toggle mode. But I honestly wouldn't be surprised whatsoever if they actually
retail
added
graphics.
retail models and just pulled retail assets to make, you know, Gilneas look better, feel better, act more into the world itself. But
yeah, Classic Plus is coming, J-Mal. You're saying you don't think Classic Plus doesn't happen? This video will go to the graveyard with all the other ones. And like Turtle WoW. The reason why Blizzard did what they did to Turtle WoW is because Classic Plus is coming. And I said this like fucking 3 years ago. That if we see Blizzard really start dropping the hammer on these Classic Plus servers, that means Classic Plus is coming. And as soon as Blizzard dropped the big lawsuit on Turtle WoW, I told you guys, guess what, boys? You know what this means? Classic Plus is coming. And shit, lo and behold, I'll guarantee it. I will drop my fucking dick on the table and tell you can have it if they don't announce Classic Plus at BlizzCon. It's going to happen. That's going to be the big... We're getting the Last Titan cinematic, and we're getting Classic Plus announcement. Now, I'm not a Classic Plus Andy. I don't give a shit about Classic Plus. That's great for that community. I'm happy they're going to get it. But it could offer some content for retail. What I'm talking about right now, if they do make these cool alternate reality dungeons, we could get a taste of it in retail. Who knows? Maybe they give us some kind of remix events where we get a taste of this or something.
I think this whole zone itself will be level 35 to 45. Sure. And I think that is a sweet spot because a lot of people are going to be saying, but my end game, what about me end game? You can have raids that aren't situated in endgame zones. Raid locales don't have to be put in a level 60 zone. In this hypothetical instance, say Greymane Keep over here. Keep in mind, I did use some of Cataclysm's features to make sense logistically. So right there, you have Greymane Manor. And that can be a level 60 raid, a max level raid, situated on the eastern tip, right here, or the western tip of Gilneas.
Just the tip.
So for all the people questing and dungeoning and enjoying the world in the zone, everyone else will quite literally be taking a flight path from either Undercity or Stormwind or Ironforge, all the way right here. Imagine there's a flight path somewhere here, like the Horde camp up here, Alliance camp up here, or vice versa, south of it. So Horde would be over here, a Horde boat comes here, or a Horde Zeppelin, and an Alliance Griffin lands over here. because the inside coastal area.
Intricate details. These classic Andes, man, they get their shit together. Let me tell you, they do. They get into the intricacies of this stuff. They're basically designing the game for Blizzard at this point.
So, right off the rip, the flight path in the boat, as well as the Zeppelin / flight path for the Horde and Alliance. No one else would likely, for the most part, be doing anything here at all.
Geez.
Aside from, of course, mage boosters, because let's be real, even if Classic Plus is an amazing experience, we're gonna have boosters. It's Classic. Well, I don't know how the devs are gonna address that shit without mass banning half the player base, but bots are just gonna be part of the entire situation, the entire experience. We just have to accept that bots are coming, right? Just let it be. Well, we lost the war. Fuck it, it is what it is. If you guys stop swiping, there'd be no bots. All I'm saying is, if you guys stop swiping, there'd be no bots. Like, the devs should address the botting issue, but we should also hold players accountable for swiping. That's a whole different video. This over here is the max level area here. Okay. You have the elites and stuff outside of it. For example, you know, on Courage, yada yada. Max Ramus has level 58 mobs outside. But, you know, most raid entries is actually kind of clear. All things considered, there's got a couple low level mobs there, but whatever. Now, what do we have here? Up here, over here.
Worst raid entrance ever. The Shadowlands. Was it Sanctum of Domination? For some reason, these I don't know who. I hope that person fucking lost their job. I do. Somebody decided to put a fucking raid entrance in an area surrounded by extremely high level question mark elites, basically. And to add a fucking cherry on top, you couldn't even mount in the zone. So guess what we had to do? We had to fucking death run to the... That was so dumb. That was so freaking stupid, man. To summon anybody, you had to fucking death run to the damn summoning stone because they decided to put it behind an army of elites where you couldn't even fly over them. That was ridiculous. Yeah, the Blizzard doesn't really do that anymore, thankfully.
Over here, here, and here. These would be neutral hubs, quest hubs, or Alliance / Horde questing zones. In my opinion, right here would be a boat from Menethil Harbor. The Alliance would quite literally make a boat right here, and then the questing for the Alliance would start from over here. Whereas the Horde would have a flight path over here. You would actually have to walk through here to get there, but then you would be able to land right here. The gate would be blown open, and you as the Horde would walk through, come right here, and quest from there. Wow. Whereas the Alliance will have a boat from South Shore heading here, as well as Menethil Harbor. Again, my personal opinion, my theory, what I think would look cool and be interesting and make the world feel more alive. So, right here, from South Shore, you would have a boat. From Menethil Harbor, you would have a boat. Menethil Harbor would connect to South Shore because they want to make the world matter again. And I'm pretty sure Menethil Harbor is going to be extended. I'm hoping Stormwind gets a dock. I know the Zeppelin Tower for Orgrimmar.
Making the world matter again is what they're doing in retail too. With Silvermoon's revamp and all the other zone revamps. And I think we're going to continue to get shit like that. Making the world matter. People have liked it. They love the zone revamps that they've done in this expansion. I think they're going to keep doing it.
Will be expanded, as will the Undercity one. Classic Plus is meant to be...
Stormwind does have docks in retail. Yeah, he's talking about Classic Stormwind, though. I don't think Classic Stormwind had a dock. So, yeah, he's talking about adding a dock to Classic Plus.
Finishing of Vanilla's world. We're not getting flying. Flying mounts aren't happening.
Yeah,
the devs know that. We know that you and me... If you want flying mounts in Vanilla, wow, you are not a Classic player, you're a retail player. You can make travel faster, make travel more convenient by making the world itself more convenient, not by removing the world, so the convenience can be the main factor. Flying is only convenient,
we're playing.
But it mitigates the entire world experience. So having flying in Classic or in Classic Plus is a bad idea overall. So, the Alliance questing hub, it would start here and it would lead into all the fucking paths and directions. The Horde would be over here, as I said, and the Horde would travel downwards, over this way, towards the dungeon, and then Gilneas itself would stay mostly locked until we clear the raid. Okay. So, I think, in my personal opinion...
Tell us about Gilneas.
Gilneas itself, as a zone, will open up, maybe not at launch, but maybe phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, but the Gilneas raid over here will be far later into the life cycle and the lifespan of Classic Plus. I don't think the raid is a launch raid. I don't think it's the first raid they're going to open up with. Whether it's the Siege of Gilneas, the Greymane Manor raid, maybe they even make the Greymane Wall, like the Encourage event, level 60s, everybody grouping together, trying to break the wall down. Sure. A huge event around it, and, you know, PvP, all that cool stuff. and then, for example, somebody gets a rideable Worgen from like an epic quest line, or after harvesting 10,000
Rideable
Worgen
Worgens,
furs or
that's a
something.
furry's dream.
There's cool things they can do in that regard, but like, regardless of what raid is what, I don't think the raid for Gilneas will be there at launch. I think Gilneas' zone isn't a far-fetched experience to be added into the game in a reasonable time frame, a reasonable time span. I think it will make sense logistically to add it to the game so people can enjoy the world and enjoy what it's meant to look like. So right here on screen, you guys can see the vanilla outline of Gilneas. It's a floppy penis, it's a flaccid dick. It's not anything like that of Retail WoW's Gilneas, or Cataclysm's Gilneas. There really wasn't much here.
Extra
you
floppy.
guys can quite literally see right here. That is the grey main wall. This is Gilneas right here. It is small, doesn't really fit in the map. They very clearly just stopped working on it just to be done with it. It wasn't something that actually truly got finished in time for anybody to really experience the vanilla Gilneas. And they completely changed the map itself to make the world of Gilneas feel better once they did transition it from the vanilla version to the Cataclysm version.
Okay.
So right here, behind me, through my slightly see-through shirt, you have Cataclysm Gilneas. This is the retail Gilneas you've all come to know.
Yeah.
I want to say love, but let's be real here. No, you guys don't love it. Not my classic community, at least. Anyways, there's the grey main wall all along the northern edge.
Yeah,
it's much bigger
so
than
much opportunity here to really create a nice, badass-looking city. There's so much opportunity. The art and the aesthetic's already there. They just need to freaking finish out the city, make it lively, give us a reason to go there, make it a capital city for all I care. But it has to happen.
Is in Vanilla WoW.
A lot
you
of
have
potential.
Gilneas City. You have a Grey Main Manor right over here. And then, Cataclysm sunk the world and destroyed it. You then, of course, have over here the sickening, the corruption, all that stuff. And you have all the little, story and beat points. Whereas right here is Gilneas before Cataclysm. Before the Cataclysm destroyed the world. You can quite literally see that it's almost reminiscent of what it is in Cataclysm, but it also feels more in line with what it looked like in vanilla.
Yeah, so there's their manor right there, Grey Main Manor. You could see the layout of it all. This is an artistic rendition, probably of what Gilneas was expected to be. You see the gates right here, the bridge into this. Man, this would be so cool. Imagine they rebuilt this like this. Look at all this, like how populated the city looks with buildings too.
It feels more like a continuation, an homage to the vanilla WoW's girthy Gilneas.
Girthy Gilneas.
And you can see the tear in the Grey Main Wall. You can see the little dock town here, Gilneas City. The bridge, all the little things.
Right, that's
you
a
have
proper
Grey
dock.
Main Manor. You have the little forest thicket right here. And Gilneas as a zone has a lot of mystery and lore and charm behind it.
Definitely.
From the Worgen to the last surviving human kingdom in the north. Keep in mind that in the north there is no more alliance factions. You have Airy Peak for the Wildhammer Dwarves, and that's about it. South Shore, of course, in vanilla is Alliance, and then by Cataclysm, Sylvanas does some shit to it. But you guys can quite literally see that the human element for northern eastern kingdoms is missing, and Gilneas is that avenue, that connection to bring the might of Stormwind to the north.
Yeah.
Just like in the same vein, we'll be able to bring the might of Orgrimmar, the might of the Horde to the
Whereas the flooded bit, that picture is pre-Cataclysm, so none of that shit's happened.
south of
That's an original
and then
art
vice
rendition.
versa, with other zones being added into Kalimdor later on. Now, Gilneas in vanilla is a very forested,
Well, the Grey Main
dark,
Wall was
gritty
broken, actually, so I don't know if it was pre-Cat. But yeah, I guess it's not flooded in that picture.
area. It's similar to Silverpine Forest. You guys have seen it multiple times. I've showed it this video several times. That dark, gloomy atmosphere is what makes Gilneas Gilneas.
Yeah, it's cool.
It's meant to be that shadowy, sinister kingdom who was always isolated and selfish based on their own personal beliefs, not wanting to be involved, wanting to be independent. And the mountains all around everywhere makes the zone very insulated and closed off. Mountains, dark, gritty forests. I assume there'd be another forest here. I just didn't add one to the map for, no particular reason. You would have paths connecting quests in the mountain, harpies, kobolds, creatures, Worgen. You would have Worgen that are conscious and understanding of who they are. You would have Forsaken and Lordaeron sympathizers. You'll have remnants of human supremacy, Garithos. You will see
so much
people
good lore
and
they could even put in
stories
retail about
culminate
this.
here between the Alliance and the Horde about the fate of the last kingdom in the Northern Eastern Kingdom. The last successor to the Arathi Empire, to Arathor. Well, to be fair, Stormwind is the successor because they're the biggest and strongest. But in this context, this right here.
Yeah,
still
by
stands.
retail they were.
The Horde Hub, the Grey Main Walls, late game dungeons, a level 60 dungeon talking about the beginning of the curse. The dungeon could be in the depths of this forest as well. Like, the dungeon location isn't super relevant. The hub locations aren't very relevant. The hubs can be anywhere. The whole point of this video is to showcase what Gilneas itself could be. What Gilneas itself could add. What Gilneas itself could truly contribute to the experience and the world and the story of Classic Plus. Because Classic Plus itself is coming. It's not a matter of if, maybe, who, why, when. It's simply, and only, because I said when, but when is the only question. The when. And I think it's November this year. I think Classic Plus is a lot closer than you guys are aware of, and I think you guys are all going to be surprised at how goddamn good Classic Plus itself is.
Yeah.
Keep your ears open. There's so much information out there that you guys aren't paying attention to. No, I'm not going to say anything. This right here.
The man knows.
Isn't exactly what Gilneas will look like. Nothing on this thing is accurate except for maybe Gilneas City being a giant fucking circle in the middle of a lake. And this lake up here, because there's lore-wise, there's meant to be a big lake over here. It should like spill over into the wall. And the wall is technically meant to go over the lake and separate it. So the waterfall goes on one side and both the other side. That's about the only thing that's really relevant to Gilneas architecturally. City in a circle.
We're missing a creepy zone.
And this river basin over here.
You're
Everything
right.
else is quite literally this.
Yeah, a creepy end zone.
I
end game
can't wait
zone.
to dive into Classic Plus with all of you. But let me know what zone you want to hear about next. I'm very curious what people's thoughts are on other zones, what you're excited about. What part of the world and the lore and the storytelling truly makes you, as a player, excited? Thank you all for watching. If you like this video, like and subscribe. If you hated it, understandable. Dislike and subscribe so the crazy whiteboard man can be off your feed till the next video. Thank you all. Ebonheart out. Peace.
I don't know who would hate this video. I thought it was a great video. I thought he did I enjoyed people's passion, man. This guy's clearly passionate. Ebonheart, he's clearly passionate about Classic WoW. Now, one reason why I watched it, and one reason I thought it was interesting, is I've been talking about Gilneas being a big-time city in retail for a while now. And I think he's laid out some of the groundwork here where it can actually happen. I hope this thing happens for sure. I'm not linking it. No, I'm going to upvote it, and I'm going to comment, too, to help this man out. Great video. That's what I'm going to say. Great video. Yep. And nice video overall. I think this was a nice video. Nice layout of Gilneas. And I do hope Blizzard continues forward with Gilneas and everything else. Nice one.